Today, we are diving deep with a true business maverick. His name is Michael McLean. Now known as the Badass CEO, Michael isn't just a title, it's a lifestyle. From being a pro hockey coach to a humble beginning in insurance towards building a multi-million-dollar empire, Michael's journey is one of relentless drive and unwavering determination. We'll delve deep into his incredible story of transforming just a small-town insurance agency into a powerhouse, the invaluable lessons learned from his father, and even the secrets behind his high-efficiency lifestyle. Michael also shares his insights on balancing business success with family life and his foray into the world of entrepreneurship with his barbershop venture. So get ready to be inspired as we explore the mindset and strategies of a true entrepreneur. And don't forget to subscribe, click that button down there, or if you're listening on Spotify, just click that button there. And welcome.
So Emmanuel, when I graduated from university, my entire dream was to coach in the National Hockey League. I was going to be a hockey coach. I was well on my way to making that my career. The biggest thing was, after coaching 3 years of pro hockey, I got fired from my job. So I never thought I would get fired from coaching hockey when it makes sense. Coaches are hired to be fired. And that was when I got into entrepreneurship. So I was age 25 when I transitioned from hockey into entrepreneurship, and I've never looked back since.
Oh, okay. That's nice. I love the part where I'm trying to figure out, on what grounds did you get fired? Because you decided to go into something that you like, that you've always aspired to do. And now here you are, and 3 years later, they just tell you, okay, it was nice knowing you. It was nice working with you. But so how was that? How was that? Because it's a blow. I think, especially from the personal development perspective, it's a blow when you are into something that you think is yours, and then they just tell you.
I thought it was the worst thing that ever happened to me, and it ended up being the best thing. But when I was 25 years old at the time, when I got fired, Emmanuel, because the team ran out of money. So when you're coaching professional sports, there's many reasons you can be fired. Number one, when you don't win enough games. But in my particular case, the team ran into financial problems. So a great way to save money is to get rid of the high-priced coach. When I got fired, I was in absolute shock, because I thought I was the greatest coach in history. And I returned home to my parents, and I was licking my wounds. And I was sitting at the kitchen table with my mom and dad, and I was getting ready to go back into coaching. And I'm 25 years old at the time, and my dad says to me, he says, "Can I ask you a few questions?" And I said, "Sure." He said, "How many cities have you lived in the last 4 years coaching hockey?" I said 4. He goes, "How many people have you worked for?" I said 4. He said, "Okay." He said, "Do you want to be married down the road?" Yeah, I said, "Of course." And he said, "Would you like to have a family down the road?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Can you explain to me how you could have a family when you're going to live in 10 cities, work for 10 different people, you're going to be fired 10 different times, and your kids are going to end up going to 15 different schools?" And that was the very first time that I ever thought beyond my 20s. And that's when my dad said to me, because we had a family business, he said, "Before you go back into coaching, what about coming with me for 1 year, for 12 months? I'll show you the insurance business. And after 1 year, you can say, I want to do this. But if you love it, I'll sell you the company over 10 years. And I was 25 at the time, and I said, I'll try it a year, but the insurance business is boring for me. So it ended up being the best decision of my life. I worked for my dad from the front door to the back door for 12 months. I walked into his office after 1 year, and I said, "Dad, I love this. I want to buy this company." We put together a 10-year agreement. And I worked in that business for 17 years. We grew that company to number one in the nation for 7 straight years. And I sold that business in 2017 for a record multiple, but I actually didn't adjust to the insurance business. I actually made the insurance business adjust to my sporting mindset. So I brought a hockey coaching sporting mindset to the business.
Yeah. I was actually about to ask that because, it's interesting. You came from a field that at least you had the passion for, and you're entering, like, it's something that you never did before. So it's your father trying to show you how to go down the road. And I wanted to know, how did that, team coach, that pro hockey person, how did that persona come and influence your business strategies? How did it impact this side of your life? Because you have more experience in the technical, in the physical and all that, and the mental capacity of helping people and all that. Now you're coming to insurance, and I think it's a totally different game, and it's all finances and whatever they do in insurance. So how did you use this mindset of this side, which is, a winner mindset, a bravery mindset, a warrior mindset, apply to the business world?
I have to give my dad credit for telling me before I walked in the insurance business. He said, don't change a thing. Do not change a thing. He said, you're a coach and you're a team builder. So do those 2 things. He said, don't come in here and try and be in the insurance business. He said, come in here and be in the coaching business and be in the team building business. And I literally transformed the business. Our office, when I renovated it, it looked more like a locker room than it did an insurance office. Like, I had all the motivational sayings. I had the big whiteboards. Everybody had a door. Everybody had a window. We had books for everybody to read. It was personal improvement. It was personal high performance. Yeah. And then I started recruiting people to work in the agency. So we started with 4 people. I got rid of all 4 people. I didn't want anything to do with those particular people. Yeah. And just like sports, I started recruiting people and training them. But I was never really in the insurance business. I was more in the coaching business. I was more in the marketing business. And I built this team that came to 23 people. And I had a different mindset. Now I wasn't serving athletes. I was serving my clients, and I was serving employees. So my dad gave me that advice. He said, make sure you remain a coach and remain a team builder. And that's how I fell in love with the insurance business.
Interesting. I'm getting the concept that many people nowadays go into business. Let's say, as you're an experienced entrepreneur, and you might have noticed that most people try to go into the entrepreneurship area, and they try to, imitate, I think, and try to copy what is already out there. And we're trying to copy the corporate style and all that. But I'm intrigued by the way that you entered in insurance, but you entered it as a coach, and I'm going to use the techniques of a coach to just serve these clients, and it created the success that you achieved in the past in those 17 years that you worked in the firm. It's very interesting, and I think is it though? I'm curious to know, is it applicable on a smaller scale? Let's say someone going into an office, they belong to a certain department. This is not someone starting their own company. It's just a young person from university going to a corporation or whatever. And they're there now. Should they transform their mindset, or should they have a certain mindset and just keep that spirit because it's going to help them down the journey in this new company, in this new tribe and all that? What's your thought on that?
If I was younger and I'm working for a corporation, I'm constantly studying and reading and listening to podcasts like this so that I can keep my independent thinking. Like, I have a 12-year-old daughter. My number one job as a dad is to preach and teach independent thinking. Also, if I'm working in a corporation and I'm thinking that maybe I want to be an entrepreneur, I'm working in the evenings, Emmanuel. I'm working in the evenings for about an hour every day, on my side hustle or my next business? What can I do to help people? It's no different than your podcast. A person has to keep asking themselves, what is my calling? What's my reason? I call it my mission. So if you're not happy working in a corporation and you're paying bills, that's perfectly okay. But then start to think about what's your solopreneur or your one-person business helping other people, because what's business? You solve a problem. Your podcast solves a problem. So start to work on that every day. Keep your job. And there'll come a day, if you work every day for an hour on the side business, that you'll someday be able to leave the company and work for yourself. But that's a great way to do it, is not to give up your job, but to learn every night after work. So instead of going out drinking or, wasting time on social media, always be working on your next mission. What's your calling? What's your purpose? What are you obsessed with? Not even what you're passionate about. What are you obsessed with? Like, I'm obsessed with coaching. You're obsessed with podcasts. You've got to keep asking yourself, what am I obsessed with? What can I not do? And then gradually work on doing that for your career. And that's going to make you a better person. That's going to make you happier. That's going to make you wealthier. But that's what I'm doing. If I'm 20 now or I'm 30, I'm working on the next thing on the side. And every night from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. when I go to bed, I'm working on my mission. I'm working on my next thing. And then when that next thing becomes big enough, you can walk away from the job.
That's interesting. It's interesting how you try to make young people understand that. I think it's not about quitting your job. It's not about but it's about focusing those small uncountable times that you continuously invest towards what you really love, towards what you're really passionate about. And it's those times that will come to accumulate, because I think young people right now, probably, I cannot speak for all people, but some people are very curious to succeed in a young age, but yet fewer people really know how to invest or how to invest their time towards, this success. And we're all sometimes most people are I want to be this when I'm 20, when I'm 30, but what are we doing to reach that point? What are we doing to reach that point? And this sparks a curiosity in me again, because you mentioned that you have a 12-year-old daughter that you try to, it's kind of coaching, mentor, so that she grows to become, to the potential that you see in her, or she has. And I just wanted to know, how did your father, what role did he play, during the 17 years? What role did he play towards you becoming, the Michael we have today, the 8-figure entrepreneur, the multimillionaire, and still a person who still learns?
It was something he said to me when I was in high school. I walked into his office, Emmanuel, one day, and I was talking about the job I had at a restaurant where I had this job. And he looked at me and he said, I would be embarrassed if I worked for somebody else. And only a lifelong entrepreneur can say something like that. So my grandfather ran a general store. He worked for himself for 45 years. My dad worked for himself ever since the age of 15. So my dad wanted to get the message through that there's only one life for him, and that's working for yourself, being your own boss. And that really stunned me at the time, because I was like 18, 19 years old, and I thought I was making a little bit of money. And he said, I would be embarrassed if I worked for somebody else. And he didn't mean to. It was just like, wow, this is a guy who's always been his own boss. And I said to him, well, what could I do? I mean, I'm only 18 years old. He said, are you cooking? He said, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to work for a restaurant. You don't have to work cleaning pool. He said, window washing. That's when he said to me about the window washing. He said, you could wash every window in this downtown area and make more money in 1 week than you would make working at that restaurant for the
restaurant,
year. Plus you work for yourself.
Right.
So ever since he said that to me, I've always been thinking, I see something and I say to myself, I could do that better. I could even do that better than that business. And if I have passion for it, like that's how I started the barbershop 10 years ago. I was like, I think I can do that better. And then I focused on it. I made a plan and I said, I'm going to go for it. But it's all about you being yourself as well. I have a saying with my students, play your own game, play your own game. So I tell my hockey players, when you're in your 20s, Emmanuel, that is your learning years.
Yes.
20 to 30 is your learning, not earning. If you have to work for somebody for free, if you have to live in if you have to live with your parents, I don't care. That's your earning years. Once you hit 30 to 40 to 50, that's when you can earn money. But if I was 30 years old, I'm going to the person that has the secrets that I need. And I'm going to that person and I'm saying, I'll work for you for next to nothing. I did that in the hockey business. I said, listen, I'll work for free. I just need to place to sleep. 20 to 30 is the learning stage. And all this stuff you see on social media is a bunch of horse shit. I don't know anybody in their 20s who's driving around in Lamborghinis. It's all baloney. Once you get to 30, if you've got the good education and you've been learning and you've been mentored, you can make all the money you need after 30. I was broke all through my 20s on purpose. On purpose. I spent all my money on seminars, on books, on podcasts. And then when I got into my 30s, I had the wisdom and the knowledge to make the money. But forget about all that get rich quick stuff in your 20s. In fact, it's the wrong way to go. Your 20s are your learning years. You get into your 30s, you have all kinds of time to make money the right way. And then you'll build something that's sustainable. You'll actually build something that's sustainable. And then ask yourself, what's my game? So your game is podcasts. You love podcasts. You're obsessed with podcasts. You would do this for free. You love podcasts. My game is video. I love shooting videos. So that's what I do. So a young person has to say to themselves, what am I obsessed with? Not just passionate. What are you obsessed with that you could turn into a business? Joe Rogan is obsessed with interviewing people. You're obsessed with interviewing people. I don't want to ever interview a person. I like to be on. So you have to know what your game is. People say to me, like, Michael, do you do social media? I said, I do YouTube. I do YouTube because I'm a video guy. And I don't do anything else. And I'm an email marketing guy. So you have to learn to play your game. My dad played his game. I play my game. You're playing your game. What are you obsessed with? And how can you turn that into money?
Powerful. I like, I really love how you really pinpointed things. And especially, as when you read the Bible, it's like there's this essence of that seek education, never let it go, like continuously improve your knowledge, continuously seek something because when you hold on to knowledge, that's like nobody can take away knowledge from you. And I'm getting that in these years, young people, because of social media, most people have that, that fear of missing out. You feel like you're left behind, and sometimes your friends might see you like, this guy, this dude is boring, is old, and all that. But I like the aspect that you say you have to be intentional towards improving yourself, educating yourself. In my 20s, I want to be this person, and so I'm going to learn through these books, through these mentors. I'm going to work for free. I'm going to do this thing for free. It doesn't matter. It's like when I'm doing a podcast, I usually tell people you can just market your business on my podcast for free. What I'm seeking to do is just that I get to do this thing called continuously, and then eventually, because if I listen to my episodes in 2018 and when I listen to my podcast today, I'm not the same person. And so I just want to continuously be better in this craft, and that nobody can, I guess, tell me anything. Nobody can show me that, okay, you're not doing it right and all that. I will learn, but I'll be better day by day. So that's interesting.
Well, instead of trying to be spectacular and instead of trying to be rich, instead of trying to do all this stuff, be violently consistent. I've shot 900 videos in 900 days. I've never missed a day. It's the one thing I do. I don't want to be famous. I just am consistent. And some videos, like your podcast, some videos are home runs, some are failures, but all I do all day is hit singles. I hit singles all the time. Shoot a video, done. Shoot a video, done. Shoot a video, done. My big thing is to be violently consistent. If I'm in my 20s, I'm not worried about making money. If I pick a job that's paying the bills, I'm going to be violently consistent for 10 years to build my audience. Joe Rogan, nobody listened to his podcast. Nobody listened to Joe Rogan's podcast. Everybody starts at the bottom. Nobody watched my videos. So these are your learning years. When you were back in 2018, nobody watched the podcast.
Right.
So if you're watching these vanity numbers, you'll lose your inspiration. Instead, your focus was serve other people. Our creator gives every man and woman a mission. And 99% of people, man, have no idea what their mission is. The people who are average, ordinary, and mediocre, they're not on a mission. I've been on a mission since I was 12 years old, and your mission will change. But you have to ask yourself in your 20s, what's my call? What's my purpose? And let's do that. Like Joe Rogan, it just didn't come to him about a podcast. He said, I'm a seeker. Joe Rogan doesn't call himself a podcaster. He calls himself a seeker of knowledge. You're a seeker of knowledge. I asked you before we got on here, I said, why did you start a podcast? Because it's a hell of a lot of work. And you said, I love learning from other people. Boom, that's your mission. And then your mission is to share it with the world. And that's the whole thing. When you focus on just serving yourself, like when I was poor, when I was broke, I chased money. Now that I'm an 8-figure guy, I never even think about money. I think about serving other people. When I do a podcast, I'm like, how can I help other people? So I've made all my money in the last 20 years. And that's when I started serving other people and I started going on my mission. But when I used to chase money, it ran away from me. It's like that's the law of the jungle when it comes to anything. When you chase things, it doesn't happen. When you work through your 20s and build your knowledge, and like you said, you can take it anywhere. Forget about the economy. Forget about who's president. You can make your own economy when you build your mentality. And that's been the biggest thing for me is who have I been called to serve? What's my obsession? And then doing that.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you very much for sharing this awesome goldies, I can say goldies. I mean, for any person listening, Michael has shared interesting stuff. And I think as we're about at the verge, of our concluding our today's episode, I wanted to, I have something curious in my mind. I haven't reached your level yet. And so I want to learn from you. How do you balance, being a high-performing business coach, a business person, and being a father, a present husband, and all that? How do you play these two balls and that your family doesn't see you like, my dad is never home and all that?
Vitamin N. That's the secret. If your audience wants to take one thing away, I work 3 to 5 hours a day because I say no to everything. And I mean everything. So I like being on a podcast with you. So I say, that's the only thing I said yes to today. I drive my dog to school. My wife and I are going out for dinner. I coach my daughter in sports. The reason I can do all those things is what I call vitamin N, which is the word no. The problem with people in 2024, 2025 is especially young people, they're people pleasers. They got to say yes to everything. Do you want to meet for drinks? Yes. Do you want to go to the movies? Yes. Do you want everything? Yes. But just remember what Warren Buffett said. When you say yes to something, it means you have to say no to something that matters. So people, Emmanuel, ask me every day, they say, Michael, you want to go golfing? You want to go for a beer? You want to invest in this building? And I go, that would be great. But what would I have to stop doing to do? Would I have to stop driving my daughter to work? Would I have to stop going to the gym? Would I have to stop going on podcasts? And then it's a hell no. If I have a rule, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. So I'm like Warren Buffett. I walk through my day saying no to almost everything because I don't want to take away from my family. So if you want to transform your life in your 20s and 30s, stop being a people pleaser and start saying no to everything that doesn't matter. Well, how do you know what matters? Well, it's very clear. Your creator gives you a mission. Your creator gives you a purpose. Will this help me live my mission? So today somebody said, Michael, would you like to go to this game? And I stopped myself, Emmanuel, and I said, will this help me with my mission? Will this make my mission happen? No, it won't. So I told the guy, thank you, but no. Being on this podcast, will this help me serve 1 million people? Yes, with the podcast. So it's all about knowing what your purpose and your mission is so that you can say no to almost everything. The last thing I'll say is my life changed. I used to be broke until I did this one thing. And I did this when I was in my 30s. And I started, the first hour of the day belongs to you. So if you're 18 years old, or you're 20 years old, or you're 30 years old, the first hour of the day belongs to you. I used to get up and play defense. I used to get up and check my phone, and I would lose control of my day in the first 10 minutes. For the last 20 years, I get up, and the first hour of the day belongs to me. It belongs to Michael McLean, and it belongs to the man I'm becoming. What do I use first hour? I use this first hour to work on me. Sometimes I pray, sometimes I read, sometimes I go to the gym. Whatever I need to do that's my number one priority, the first hour of the day is for me. So I get up at 6 and I work on me for 1 hour. Then the rest of the day I can do whatever. So I don't get up and check my phone. I don't get up and check social media. I can do that the rest of the day. But if you start getting up and the first hour of the day belongs to you, it will transform your life. If I'm working for a corporation right now and I'm like, I don't have any time to build my own solo business, that's bullshit. If you get to bed an hour earlier, get up an hour earlier, that's 7 hours a week. That's 365 hours a year you could be using to build your empire. And that's how it gets done. Pay yourself first with the first hour of the day. It belongs to you. And lots of men.
Thank you very much, Michael McLean. Thank you for sharing all these awesome insights. Thank you. Actually, Michael, you have a book, and I think you can talk about your book as well, because I'm getting this aspect. I'm taking today that I should say no, and I should use the first hour effectively for me. And so, welcome to share about your book, because I don't want our time to run out and you didn't mention anything about your coaching business and all that.
Your audience you can get a free copy of my brand new book at brassballssecrets.com. That's brassballssecrets.com. It's a 22-page PDF. It's my complimentary free gift to your audience. Also, that will be, the person can download the book and read the book for free. The other thing too is you'll be on my daily newsletter. So what I do after I'm done reading for the first hour of the day, owning the first hour of the day, I take the 3 best things that I've learned that day, me personally, and I write them in an email and I send them to my list. So every day, you not only get the book, but every day you'll get a short email from me with the 3 things that I learned that day. And it could be money making, it could be marketing, it could be health, it could be fitness, it could be marriage. And that also will be, they can join my list. So all you have to do is go to brassballsecrets.com, download my book for free, join my email list, and it's my complimentary gift to everybody.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Michael, for being on this podcast today. I think I enjoyed it. And that's Brass
Balls Secrets.
Brass Ball Secrets.com. All right. .com. Let me just write that so that I can also share with the audience and all that. Thank you very much, Michael. I hope to the listener, I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. And if you want Michael to come back again, because he's a great guy, I can just say, I just talked to him today and I feel like I need to listen to him more and more and more. So